accounts for over 30 years. And The Panorama, a quarterly newsletter covering ongoing activities and historical presentations. Go to sfhistory.org and discover the San Francisco Historical Society, giving our history a great future. Become a member today.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMC FM at HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Good morning, area.
It's time to wake up. It's 5, and we're live.
Oh, is this thing on? I don't care. I want him to hear.
This is the Pregame Show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game. Come on!
Oh, yes. Welcome in on this lovely Tuesday here in the Bay. This is the Pregame Show. I'm your host, Joe Spadoni. And for the next hour, I will take you on a journey. I don't know where the journey's going to lead us. We're going somewhere. It's like Star Trek. I don't know what planet we're going to. What alien race we're going to mess with this time. I don't know what planet we're going to have to save or not get involved with because their timeline hasn't caught up with ours. I don't know. All I know is I'm Jean-Luc Picard, and I'm looking for my data, and I'm looking for my Worf at 888-957-9570. Didn't think you were getting a Next Generation reference at 5:01 a.m., did you? That's just what we're about. And what else we are about here at 95.7 The Game. Not just the Home Run Derby, which we'll get into. Vlad Guerrero Jr., winning it for the second time. Not just that, not just Mike Dunleavy Jr. speaking to the media, GM of the Golden State Warriors. First time he's spoken on the Chris Paul and Jordan Poole trade, the Draymond re-signing. We'll hear from Mike a little bit later. Larry Harris, the assistant GM as well, who joined Willard and Kruger, who was in for dibs yesterday. Hear from that. And Nick Castellanos with one of the stranger takes I've heard during All-Star week, whatever you want to call it. So we'll get into that. And you know the drill. 888-957-9570. That's the number to call or text. Yes, the Comcast Business text line. Same number, call or text. All are welcome. We are live and streaming on Twitch, on YouTube. Good morning, all of you lovely people. Paolo. Matrix. Wow. Matrix. Let's do more Next Generation comps. Jesus M. Appreciate you. And also, be sure to download that Odyssey app and favorite 95.7 The Game. Because you can take us anywhere. But also Twitch and YouTube. We can go international. I don't know if the Odyssey app goes international. I've been told it doesn't. But hey, anywhere in America, you got us. And also, and it says this right here on the paper, don't throw away. Because this is the prize list I'm reading off for the 95.7 The Game's All-Star Week blowout. We had 3 winners yesterday. We had 2 rounds of golf given away at Berkeley Country Club. So we got 2 people golfing with 2 of the shows at least. Got 1 more left. We got autographed Klay Thompson jersey we're giving away. We got pair of tickets to Jerry Seinfeld and Jim Gaffigan. We got jiu-jitsu or self-defense lessons courtesy of Evolve Training Center. 3 fitness, Muay Thai, or boxing lessons courtesy of Evolve Training Center. 2 1-month memberships, I should say, to Evolve Training Center. It's all 3. Those are separate ones. $250 gift card to Alexander Steakhouse and a pair of tickets to Hip Hop Made the Bay at SAP Center on November 3rd. $250 gift card to Buonvino and Walnut Creek and a pair of tickets to Hip Hop Made the Bay at SAP Center on November 3rd. Look at that. We got so much still to give away. And we're doing that all week right here on 95.7 The Game, so you just got to be paying attention to all 3 of the shows. Now, not this one. I decided not to give away anything. I couldn't deal, you know? The thought of not giving away a gift to all of my loyal listeners here on the pregame show, it tore me up inside. The Nicole Diaz's, the El Gueros, all you guys, Dublin Marges, just couldn't do it. Tell you what, if you guys want to take me out, round of golf, I'm all in. Just got to include the gas and the tickets. But I'll come golfing. Any excuse to get out of the house. It's going to be toasty this week, too, in the Bay. A little warm. I'm all about that. I think I might hit up the boardwalk this weekend with the fam. That might be fun. 888-957-9570. That is the number to call in when they tell you to call in for this All-Star Week blowout giveaway. All right? So be paying attention to all the shows today because they're going to be asking questions, and you better know the answers to them. Morning Roast yesterday, we're asking some questions. Clearly, we weren't paying attention to Brett Boone. And if you were paying attention to Brett Boone, former All-Star with the Seattle Mariners, won the celebrity softball game MVP, and is a Odyssey podcaster here now. Brett told you who was going to win the Derby, and he was right. Vladdy Jr. Yes, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. edges out Randy Arozarena. And how do we feel about it? Is anyone locked into that last night? I had it on the background. It was fun. Little guy liked watching. He's like, oh, they're hitting home runs. I was like, yeah, dude. It's the one time you can actually watch the baseball game, and it's exciting for you. I shouldn't say that. He likes going to the game. Baseball's a very difficult sport for anyone under 5 to really just pay attention to. The pitch clock has helped because the action's sped up and stuff like that, but still, small ball, small attention span, it's very difficult. I'm sure the same is for hockey, at least that's more fast-paced and there's gliding on ice. But baseball specifically, very difficult for the toddlers to pay attention to. Basketball? That's easy. Young kids love the b-ball games. Took the little guy to the California Classic a couple weeks ago. He had the blast. He had a good time. He didn't care who won. He just watches it. His eyes affixed on the game throughout. But man, last night, it felt like a perfect night to showcase the home run derby. It's a beautiful field. T-Mobile Park, formerly Safeco, up in Seattle. It's beautiful. You had the names out. You had the Pete Alonso, former champion. You had Luis Rodriguez. You had all these guys. Hell, you had Mookie Betts. God bless him. God bless Mookie, man. Man. 415. Oh, Matrix, because your opening song is from the end of the first Matrix. I didn't even know that. Thank you, 415. Appreciate you. Former production here. The pregame show open's been locked in for about a few years now. I was not here in the inception of it. I actually wanted to get a new open, but out of my control there. Maybe we'll get one when we move to the new building, but won't have my name attached to it. But you know what? There is something special about the pregame show open where it's just vague open. Gives memories of hosts past, a la Matt Kolsky, a la Stephen Langford, up at KCBS now. Kolsky moving back to Chicago. But there is a nice little reminiscence of hosts of past. 888-957-9570. I don't know where I was going with that. Squirrel reference. But who watched the home run derby last night? Did anyone enjoy it? I enjoyed it. I mean, what was more impressive? Adley Rutschman, the catcher of the Baltimore Orioles, switch hitting home runs? That was pretty freaking sweet. I think that was more impressive than Rodriguez's. I say Luis Rodriguez? Julio Rodriguez, excuse me. Julio Rodriguez, the Seattle Manor, going for 41, the most ever in one round at the home run derby. I still think Rutschman's switch hitting, though, is a baller move. Maybe if he doesn't do that and goes from the right hand the whole time, he wins and gets out of the first round because Luis Robert of the Chicago White Sox ended up beating him. But Rutschman switch hitting was the highlight of the night, for me anyways. What was yours? 888-957-9570. Maybe earlier in the day, this was the highlight for some of you. Nick Castellanos.
Everyone was asked their favorite superheroes. Yeah. You said Scooby-Doo.
Sure.
I I didn't realize Scooby-Doo was a superhero. Can you kind of explain his superhero lore?
I mean, well, first off, he's a dog, right? And he can talk.
Fair enough. Okay.
And he solves mysteries. So I think that a dog that can talk and helps people by solving mysteries, I think is a superhero.
Checks off all the superhero boxes, has special skills, and he helps people.
Correct.
Okay. Nick Castellanos there, Phillies All-Star. He was asked about a superhero, and he listed Scooby-Doo. You know, they ask these fun questions, all the All-Stars. You got to answer them. It's like a questionnaire. Get to know the people. I get it. Scooby-Doo, huh? I guess he is a talking dog. But by definition, a superhero is a benevolent fictional character with superhuman powers, such as Superman. This is dictionary.com. Okay. Well, if we're going to include Batman, who does not have any superpowers, as a superhero, or is he just a hero? Because that's what I would put Scooby-Doo in. I don't think it's anything supernatural with Scooby-Doo. And yes, that's what we're talking about here on the pregame show at 888-957-9570. The day after the home run derby, is Scooby-Doo a superhero? Thanks. One. I give myself a 3 there. The best part of that is that pause right after the question was asked, or the statement, I should say.
Everyone was asked their favorite superheroes. Yeah. You said Scooby-Doo.
Sure.
I didn't realize Scooby-Doo was a superhero. Can you kind of explain his superhero lore?
I mean, well, first off, he's a dog, right? And he can talk.
There you go. That's it. He's a dog and he can talk. What's Scrappy, though? Scrappy is superheroes? He's the sidekick. Man, poor Scrappy. I remember when I was a kid, they remade this movie into like live action, with like Sarah Michelle Gellar and Freddie Prinze Jr. as Daphne and Fred. It was a Matthew Lillard as Shaggy. I can't remember her name who played Velma. Help me out here, text line 888-957-9570. Famous actress. And Rowan Atkinson was like the head guy that was trying to solve the mystery or whatever. And they invited him to this attractionist museum. It was just very odd. Remember watching, I was 8. A lot of sexual innuendos in a children's movie. Felt like that was the norm for the early 2000s and the late 90s. But Scooby-Doo, huh? 888-957-9570. Is he a superhero? And what other fictional characters out there would you deem a superhero that is not commonly referred to as one? I'll take it. Scooby-Doo, sure. You know what? He might as well be the same person as Batman at this point. Solves crime, solves mystery. He's doing him. I get it. And honestly, he probably is more of a superhero than a Batman. And yeah, we're doing deep dives on this because why not? It's the pregame show. It's 5:13. I'm your host, Joe Spadoni. And this is what we do here. Yeah, hard-hitting sports talk. Yeah, Mike Dunleavy Jr., Larry Harris. Yeah, they spoke. But Nick Castellanos, with the take of the day, he's helping us out here. He knows what he's doing. He's like, you know what? It's quote-unquote the slowest time in sports media right now. I'm going to throw all of you a bone, no pun intended, with this Scooby-Doo take. And you know what? You're all going to run with it, and you're all going to talk about it, and you're all going to have segments. And you know what? Damn it, he's right. Castellanos with the deep drive to left. We'll make it a 4-0 ball game.
Anyone out there, I can't tell you how much I say from the bottom of my heart, I'm so very, very sorry.
Oh, boy.
I pride myself and think of myself as a man of faith.
Oh, no.
As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run. And so that'll make it a 4-0 ball game. I don't know if I'm going to be putting on this headset again.
Oh, Tom. He didn't, by the way. Tom Brenneman, ladies and gentlemen, on the call. As Castellanos is a deep drive to left. It'll make it a 4-0 ball game. Sorry, I had to. If there's ever a Nick Castellanos reference here again, we got to play it. I'm sorry. I have to. It's in my DNA. It's just one more time.
If I have hurt anyone out there, I can't tell you how much I say from the bottom of my heart. I'm so very, very sorry. I pride myself and think of myself as a man of faith. As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run. And so that'll make it a 4-0 ball game. I don't know if I'm going to be putting on this headset again.
It's just chef's kiss every time. I'm sorry. Oh, man. Oh, from the YouTube chat. Good morning, Nicole, Luis, Timestamp, EJ, Dublin Marge. Appreciate all you guys. Domich 1212. The interviewer got a little scrappy after his answer. I think it was all shtick. I think that whole thing was Castellanos being deadpan on purpose, doing his best Jason Bateman and Arrested Development, if you will. And Demich 1212 goes on to say, if Nancy Drew, the Hardy Boys, and Dick Tracy are, and so is Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo's a little different. There's a little supernatural element to it. He's a talking dog. That changes things. I would put Nancy Drew, the Hardy Boys, and Dick Tracy in the Batman category, though, because Batman, he's super rich. That's not a superpower, though. Although one could argue it is. Not a superpower. So by the definition I'm looking at, technically not a superhero either. And I'm probably stepping a lot to, and listen, I'm not even a Superman guy. I'm a Batman guy for doing DC. But if we're just going definition, it's not even really a superhero because he's got no superpowers. I guess to go with that. It's Tony Stark, too. He's in a suit. Doesn't really have any superpowers. War Machine, Falcon, go on and on. Black Widow. I think Hawkeye has super accuracy. It's one of the lamer ones, but is what it is. I guess that's a superpower. But 888-957-9570. Scooby-Doo. Maybe we'll put a poll up. Scooby-Doo superhero? We'll continue to take your calls and texts on that. It's very pressing. As we shift from All-Star Day and All-Star Week and all that sort of stuff, go a little bit back into the Warriors, and we'll get back into the baseball because our Sam Lubman, did a hell of a job cutting a bunch of Farhan Zaidi sound. And I wanted to get to it yesterday. I just didn't have the time because of all the Chris Paul sound that we had to react to. But very interesting thoughts from Farhan ahead of the All-Star break on his thoughts on the starting pitching. And you'll be surprised about his answer in regards to that in the depth of this starting lineup. Because I was when I heard it. And it makes me feel, not saying it's going to happen, that maybe Giants fans should not be getting their hopes up that this is going to be a big buying deadline. 888-957-9570. We'll get into that a little bit later. But first, Mike Dunleavy Jr. speaking to the media yesterday on why they liked Chris Paul's fit with the Golden State Warriors. Mike, take it away.
I think in terms of his fit, the one thing we thought about was winning. Chris brings that. Go down the line of things that he does well. Starts with winning, then it goes to winning, and after that it's winning, and there's a few other things he does really well. So in terms of how it's all going to work out, how it's going to fit, I just see a guy that every organization he's gone to, he's made better. He's left that team in a better situation. So even at 38 years old, 18 seasons in the league, we still think he can do that. And so we're excited about it. Just to add his experience, his leadership, his toughness. It's a guy that's played multiple different systems, different coaches, and he's thrived in all of them. So we feel really good about it. I know Chris spoke yesterday, so I know he's excited. So it's a good thing for the Warriors.
He likes to win. He's about winning. It's like Shooter McGavin. How do you finish again? Oh, dead last? Yeah, it's a great round, though. I was too busy winning. And yes, at the end of the day, that's what it's about. Wins and losses, and I appreciate Mike just saying straight up, yeah, the guy wins, he's a future Hall of Famer. There you go. And here's more from Mike talking about the thinking behind the Poole and Chris Paul trade.
Obviously looking to improve our team and felt like adding Chris gives us a chance to get better. It addresses some things for us overall as a team. It also gives us some financial flexibility moving forward. And, most of all, Jordan, can't thank him enough for his contributions. We wouldn't have a banner if it weren't for him, and he gave us everything he had for 4 years. So really appreciate what Jordan gave us. Told him, always be a Warrior, always welcome back, and just one of those things. Felt like there's a little bit of a logjam on the backcourt, and then you get to the payroll stuff. So had to make a tough decision, but had the opportunity to get a guy like Chris Paul really was the difference for us to make that move.
Having the opportunity to get a guy like Chris Paul, a 38-year-old, over the hills strong, but a 38-year-old, small, potentially backup point guard, over your young, hotshot guy that you thought was going to be one of the future faces of your organization. Anytime you can do that, we're going to do it. I'm kidding here. But Dunleavy, listen, he needs to win. And he saw the writing on the wall. This team's not winning if both Draymond Green and Jordan Poole are on this team next season. One of them's got to go. And as the new guy on the block, I'm not getting rid of Draymond Green. Sorry, I'm not getting rid of one of the core 3 players that has made this franchise one of the most valuable, if not the most, in the league. So sorry, Jordan. You got to go to Washington. And it was as simple as that. And listen, I don't fault Mike for that at all. He was tossed into a very difficult situation. And I appreciate him putting the nuts on the table and acting. Listen, he could have gone the do-nothing route. He could have justified himself. Oh, we'll work it out. We'll have some sessions here and there. We'll have a lot of team meetings. We'll work through this. He could have done that. It would have ended horribly, but no one would fault him, right? Well, he acted, and he acted fast, and he acted quick, and that's what you got to do in this situation. It's like a Band-Aid. You got to rip it off. And in this case, Jordan Poole was a Band-Aid for the organization's faults. They ripped it off. Now they got some gauze, some Neosporin, a little fancier, big patch, if you will, in Chris Paul. And we'll see how long that lasts, maybe just for the year, the player option, team option, whatever it is. But they have a year of Chris Paul. And we'll see what happens going forward there. But again, it's a net positive at the end of the day. And our Warriors fans finally, yes, finally, coming to terms with this guy being a part of the organization. Because I was listening to Steiny and Goo yesterday. And I got to tell you, Steiny, he's got this way about him with these takes. And I knew what his take was going to be because, he's like Spadoni. He comes into the studio, he's talking to me and Loveman, or maybe just me, and I'm chilling there. Sam's taking some calls. It's like, Spadoni, you want to hear what I'm going to say today? And you know what? I actually think it makes sense too. I was like, are you saying things that don't make sense, Steiny? But he's like, what if Curry came off the bench? To which I just turned around and was like, all right, I'm not entertaining this today, with that wry smile he has. He's like, it could work. Think about it, Spadoni. I was like, I thought about it. And then I didn't, because I had to get back to dumping Clark the Shark, who's name calling the board up. Can't do that when I'm running the show. He wasn't really name calling. Bonte and I got into it a little bit. If you listen to the morning roast, if you're a roaster, which most of the pre-gamers are /roasters. He got a little bit bickering back and forth. It's all right. It's all sports hate. Lakers, Warriors, we love it. And I guess what the crux of that is, with this trade and with the Sarge signing, with the Draymond Green re-signing, with Corey Joseph being added, where are the Warriors at right now? Are they a tier below the Denver Nuggets? Are they 2 tiers below them and a tier below the Lakers? Are they right there neck and neck with the Lakers, but still a tier back from the Nuggets? Are they right on par with the Nuggets? Hell, are you part of the mindset that, listen, just because Jordan Poole is gone now, this dark cloud, it's over, it's fine. Hey, vibes are back. Or are you skeptical about the vibes still, like I am? Listen, When you have that toxic of a situation last year, and that's what it was toxic. They can call it a dark cloud, which kind of makes it a little happier when we use the word cloud. It was more toxic, I would think. The relationships in that building were festering. There was an odor that was lifted. But maybe a stench has still been left behind. Maybe there's a few players that still aren't vibing well with what just took place. Hey, the guy that got, hit, that guy's getting traded, and the guy that did the hitting is getting re-signed. Listen, it's easy just to say that you remove one of the problems, quote unquote, and all the answers are fine and there. It's not how the way the world works. And for everything that you are rectifying with moving on from Jordan Poole, there's a lot of questions you're bringing in with Chris Paul. On the court, I think it's going to be fine. There will be some heads clashing, some feelings getting hurt between him and Draymond. I can guarantee you that. That will happen. It's when things go wrong during the season, because they will, because it always does with every team. There will be an injury. There will be a bad stretch. And how is Chris Paul going to react during that time? How are the players in the locker room going to be during those stretches? I know Steph is going to be fine. I know he's going to be the leader on the court. And I know he's the leader off the court too. Hell, we heard the speech. Well, we didn't hear it, but we heard about the speech he gave prior to Game 7 against Sacramento in the first round of the Western Conference playoffs. The rest is history. 50-burger, night, Sacramento.
Whee, we got the king.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That startled Sam Lubman. He thought that was someone else playing it. His head popped up there. He's like, what? Did David just play something? No. That was David in San Jose. Is that who that is?
Whee, we got the king.
Thank you. But it's Stephen Curry's team. We get that. And I get Klay Thompson, Dre, they're professionals. But what are we getting from the younger guys? What are we getting from Andrew Wiggins, who was gone for 2 months? And listen, he came back in that Kings series. It's like he never missed a step. He was tremendous. Then he got hurt. He was compromised. And it was all over in the Western Conference semis, Game 6. So what are we getting from him? Where's his head at heading in next season? Still lots of question marks. We got to take a break. Come on back. We'll continue to take your calls and texts about the Warriors. Mike Dunleavy Jr.'s comments. We're going to hear from Larry Harris, assistant GM, who was on with Willard and Kruger yesterday, who was in for Dibs. And plus, don't go anywhere this week, folks. Be tapped in to Morning Roast, Steiny Goo, Willard Dibs, because the 95-7 The Game's All-Star Week blowout is still upon us. We still got, 12 envelopes still that need to be selected. And there's an awful lot of good stuff out there. Jerry Seinfeld tickets, pair of tickets to Berkeley Country Club to play with one of the shows, pair of tickets to a Warriors game this season, Alexander Steakhouse, self-defense lessons, and yes, an autographed Klay Thompson jersey and autographed Stephen Curry jersey still on the table. And more pregame show is still on the table. Come on back with Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game.
Hi, welcome to the IKEA Get Ready for College sale. Oh, my. Are you okay?
My baby boy is going off to college, and move-in day is almost here.
Well, right.
Get Lucky here on the pregame show, Joe Spadoni. You and the listeners, the pre-gamers, the roasters, the Steiny and Gurus, and the Willard and Dippers, is all you guys that listen to the station can get lucky by listening all week long because it's 95.7 The Game's All-Star Week blowout. Giving away Klay Thompson signed jersey, Stephen Curry signed jersey, Warriors tickets, Jerry Seinfeld, Jim Gaffigan tickets, golf with the shows, all of that. We had 3 winners yesterday. We'll hopefully have 3 more today, 3 more tomorrow, 3 more on Thursday, and 3 more on Friday. We want 15 winners, and we will get them one way or the other. But you got to be listening. You got to be paying attention to all the shows today because we're going to be asking you a question pertaining to what happened in the show earlier in the segment. So you got to be listening all day long for a chance to win those awesome prizes. Me personally, out of all these ones that sound the best, and yeah, like Seinfeld and Jim Gaffigan, they're funny. Jim Gaffigan's Hot Pocket thing gets me every single time. Seinfeld's a legend, of course. But it's the self-defense lessons are pretty sick. You got your choice of jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, boxing. That's pretty sick. And it got me thinking, specifically with boxing, because in sports you think about like a certain play, right? You think about, and now I'm saying like a play like the catch or anything like that, like an actual play, like hitting a home run, like the act of hitting a home run. Maybe I'll call it a sports act. And I was thinking about that last night, watching the home run derby. I'm like, man, hitting a home run must be so cool. Like just being able to do that in general is difficult, but doing it in a high leverage situation when guys are throwing 100 miles an hour at your head and throwing wicked sliders, that must be so gratifying to just tank one 400 feet long. Got 470 like Luis Robert did for the Chicago White Sox last night as Vlad Guerrero Jr. won it for the second time, joining his pops, who, by the way, did it back in, 2007 at formerly AT&T Park over in San Francisco. Vlad Guerrero Sr. But I was watching it last night. I was like, man, it must be so cool to hit a home run in a major league ballpark. And then I was thinking, what act in sports would be the most gratifying to win a championship with, right? Is it a walk-off home run? Is it knocking someone out in a championship fight, which goes back to the boxing lessons courtesy of Evolve Training Center that will be given away some point this week, maybe today here on 95.7 The Game during the 95.7 The Game's All-Star Week blowout. But what act in sports do you want to win a championship with? What play? Is it a home run? Is it the game-winning shot? Whether it's hockey, whether it's basketball, draining that three, fade away. Because that's what you're always doing, right? In the parking lot, dribbling with your pops, playing with your best friend. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Kobe. Every single time, right? Like that was me growing up. Maybe for you it was swinging for the fences, hitting the home run. Maybe you were boxing with your friends, going with the knockout punch. I don't know, maybe. Maybe it was the putt, right? I like to do that too. You're pretending you're at Augusta, right? 18th green. Trying to get that green jacket. Little putt. Misses. You're a failure. You stink. Go home. You make it. Ken Carl's Jr. on the way home. Oh, yeah. Now, with my dad, the case was usually we're getting the food anyways, no matter what. But it was a fun little game, right? And no, my dad never called me a loser for missing a putt. Unless we were doing a scramble and it was a tournament. It's like, what the hell, Joe? That happened occasionally. Nothing too serious to Papa Spadoni. I love you, Pops, if you're listening. But what's that act in sports where it's just like, you know what? I want to win a championship this way. Is it the putt? Is it the home run? E-Dog Evan Giddings texted me. He's like, dude, I want a penalty kick in soccer. That'd be pretty sick. At the World Cup, can you imagine that? Millions of people watching you. You're an American trying to win it for the first time ever. in a sport that's been largely dominated by the rest of the world, and you largely dominate every other sport in the world, being an American, and you finally get to win that one. Hell, if it's in the USA too, are you kidding me? The pressure and a penalty kick. And that's what it comes down to. We watched that. I'm sure a lot of you did watch the World Cup when it was France and Argentina, and that was one of the greatest matches I've ever seen in my life. Just high-level goals back and forth. Kylian Mbappe, Lionel Messi, just tremendous, tremendous. But you saw the pressure get to the goalkeeper, to the penalty takers. It gets ratcheted up 1,000. Hell, are you going a game-winning shot in tennis? Watching the Wimbledon right now. It's on TV. And by the way, Johnny McEnroe, some of the attire this guy's wearing, just an absolute legend. Stanford's own, right? Johnny Mac. Just rocking the black on black blazer, black plain white tee, like 50 chains on. Doesn't care. He's in the booth. He's on set. Guy's just living his best life. Johnny Mac. I've heard great stories about partying with that guy. I just like to imagine it's like in Mr. Deeds when Deeds is partying with him, Adam Sandler. Oh my God, it's Johnny McEnroe. Oh man. 888-957-9570. What other famous athlete would you want to party with? I think Johnny Mac sneakily might break my top 10. I think a lot of people out of like Dennis Rodman or something like that. Gronk. Give me Johnny McEnroe. So I'm watching Wimbledon in the back. Iga Swiatek of Poland. She's just a machine. By the way, shout out. We do have an American reaching the quarterfinals. Eubanks. Is it Carl Eubanks? Hope I'm getting this right. Carl Eubanks. Nope, not Carl. Not Drew Eubanks. Christopher. He's going to get there eventually. I knew it started with the C. Christopher Eubanks took out Stefanos Tsitsipas in 5 sets. The Greek, one of the top seeds in there. So the lone American remaining. Now, not Taylor Fritz, not Francis Tiafoe. It's Christopher Eubanks into the quarterfinals at Wimbledon. Shout out, Chris. He's 27, man. He's been grinding. Thought you'd be younger because usually you hear these guys' names like you haven't heard of. They're usually young and rising through the ranks. He's 27. He's been grinding. So shout out Eubanks. Maybe he'll be featured on MVP Mondays next week if he wins the title. I mean, it'll be tough to be Joker, who again is just a machine. Took out the Pole Hurkacz yesterday. 888-957-9570 for Wimbledon talk. I'm all about it here on the pregame show. I'm also all about the crossover. That's coming up next with Joe Shasky. He'll join me. Get his thoughts on the home run derby. Again, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. winning that. Get his thoughts on the All-Star game tonight. And much, much more coming up next on the pregame show. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game.
Want to own a home in the Bay Area? RSVP to the Urban League Bay Area and U.S. Bank's free program, The Financial Journey to Owning a Home program. Wednesday, July 12th, 6:30 p.m. at Uptown Station in
theories. I also like Joe Shasky joining me on the pregame show with Joe Spadoni, yours truly, on 95.7 The Game. And don't forget, Joe, 95.7 The Game All-Star Week Blowout. We're giving you multiple chances every single day. You got to be listening to The Morning Roast, Steiny Goo, Willard Dibbs. The rest of the week, giving you 3 opportunities daily to win a prize. We got 12 prizes left. Gave away 3 yesterday. But you got to be paying attention, Joe. Because if you're paying attention to your show yesterday with Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky, Brett Boone gave you the winner. You could have won some money yesterday. Brett Boone correctly choosing. Brett Boone, obviously former All-Star Seattle Mariners.
Current Celebrity Game MVP.
MVP, yes. Dude, he was smashing those softballs yesterday or 2 days ago. But he gave you Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who won yesterday.
Yeah, that was pretty
Shout
cool.
out. So, Vladdy, obviously his father winning it at AT&T Park in 2007. They're showing some of the highlights. And young Vladdy, man, cute kid, just a big chunker. Incredible. It was just funny. I'm a sucker for the old pics of dad and the kids and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Really cool. Another guy who earlier in the season, I think you brought it up on air, Nick Castellanos and his son. There was a cool little video earlier in the season. He's like, man, my dad's so cool. He's like, hey, my dad's going to hit a double here, and he hits a double. But did you catch this from Nick Castellanos, the Phillies all-star fielder, talking about superheroes? You know what they do like to do, Chasky? They like to give questionnaires to all the all-star guys. Like, hey, like, who's this superhero? Who's your favorite superhero? Take a listen to what Nick Castellanos had to say.
Everyone was asked their favorite superheroes.
Yeah.
You said Scooby-Doo.
Sure.
I didn't realize Scooby-Doo was a superhero. Can you kind of explain his superhero lore?
I mean, well, first off, he's a dog, right? And he can talk.
Fair enough. Okay.
And he solves mysteries. So I think that a dog that can talk and helps people by solving mysteries, I think is a superhero.
Checks off all the superhero boxes, has special skills, and he helps people.
Correct.
He was dead serious the whole time, too. Zoinks!
I don't even know if he does talk. I think he just makes noises.
No, Raggy?
That's right.
Ruby
No, you're
Doo.
right.
Scooby Snacks?
Yeah.
There you go. I'm just
But it's
doing
like
all
tiny
of it.
little phrases.
Scrappy's the one that talks more.
Is he the original? Groot?
Oh, that's a good one. I am Groot, the one that keeps saying his own. That's 888-957-9570. I got to think of my cartoon characters of the past. But it's just funny because
my God.
Nick Castellanos, well, that's a guy that a lot of Giants fans wanted too, by the way, a couple of years ago. He's having a good year, isn't he?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, but that would require them to actually land a free agent.
I'm sorry. I got to play it every time I play a Nick Castellanos thing.
If I have hurt anyone out there, I can't tell you how much I say from the bottom of my heart. I'm so very, very sorry. I pride myself and think of myself as a man of faith. As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run. And so that'll make it a 4-0 ball game. I don't know if I'm going to be putting on this headset again.
Oh, and he didn't. Tom Brenneman there, ladies and gentlemen. I have to play it every time, Joe. I'm sorry. I have to.
Can I float a theory by you?
Hey, you certainly can.
All right. So I'm watching last night. And look, this is not the first generation that this has happened, right? Where you have second generation professionals. Ken Griffey Jr., for example, played with his father. Ken Griffey Sr., one of the seminal players on the 1970s Reds. Barry Bonds, obviously his father, Bobby. If you look at, by the way, top 10 all time in like hitting stats, I mean, his father is all over it for San Francisco Giants. Yeah. Like all over it. Stolen bases, home runs, RBIs. I don't think people realize how great his dad was. That's number one.
I don't. Yeah. Because he played during an era where I just wasn't watching. But my dad tells me about him.
Exactly. Yes. So those are guys that came up in the 80s, but primarily starred in the 90s. Peyton Manning came up in the 90s, starred in the 2000s. So this is not new. But boy, doesn't it feel like there is a renaissance, if you will, of second-generation athletes dominating sports. And what I mean by second generation, I mean fathers played professionally somewhere, and now the kids are playing somewhere professionally and at the highest of heights. Patrick Mahomes, best player in football. His father played in Major League Baseball. Now, different sport, right? Steph Curry, father played in the NBA, dominating the sport.
Ken Griffey, we were seeing him this week. Ken Griffey Jr., Senior.
right? Yep. I'm looking at Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and I don't know if he's necessarily dominating the sport to the degree of those other two guys, Steph Curry and Patrick Mahomes, but I mean, he sure still feels like a budding star, no?
No, it's funny because I was talking about this with Evan Giddings, producer extraordinaire for Steiny and Guru and Bay Area Panthers games. Shout out Panthers. Playoff bound, by the way, Joe Shasky.
Yeah.
Prince Fielder and Cecil Fielder
were incredible.
Very underrated father-son tandem. And Prince's career obviously getting cut short because of the neck injury.
Well,
he had tanks, too.
Did you... David Sampson did a whole breakdown.
What's going on here?
Okay, so about a week ago on one of the Lebitard podcasts...
I'm big on the Samson Lebitard thing, too, by the way.
It's good.
I know he used to be just like a segment, like a once-a-week guy. But
he gives you the dirt.
I think he's hilarious.
Yeah, me too.
Yes.
And he's a weirdo.
And he's a total weirdo. It's so cringy at times when it's like you can't look away.
But I love him.
Yes, it's hilarious.
So he was saying that when Prince was... And this was so like you don't bring it up, but the clubbies, they were talking about clubbies and how there are people that are clubhouse people that basically the home and away team has to tip throughout the year, and if you're the home team, your clubby you tip at the end of the year, the away team you tip at the end of a road trip or the end of a 3-game series or whatever.
Whomst are we tipping?
People that work in the clubhouse on behalf of the players.
Okay.
Anything that they want, you go get them.
Got it. Okay.
They need Vaseline. They need sunscreen. They need, whatever you could think of. They want to know where the best burritos are in
like
town.
The equipment manager, like those kind of people.
They're like the concierge of baseball players.
Got it.
Okay. And they make very good money, and that's why those particular positions are very rarely available. When you get into one of those jobs, you stay for a long, long time. So Prince Fielder would be ordering McDonald's. He was vegan at the time. And everyone wondered why he couldn't lose any weight. Well, he was ordering McDonald's and smashing it down. You're laughing, but like David Sampson was explaining the whole thing, and like his McDonald's order from the clubbies was incredible.
Oh my God, what was it? Do you know what it is?
Multiple Big Macs.
Respect.
All supersized. Multiple of the big gulp style.
Oh, yeah.
They would go to 7-Eleven for him and get Slurpees. This guy was eating unbelievable amounts of junk food behind the Milwaukee Brewers after signing that big contract. But he's not alone. Pablo Sandoval, the rumor was, they cut him off on room service.
Hey, if you're hungry, you're hungry. Let the guys eat. Come on.
It's unbelievable.
Let him eat. If they're hitting tanks and listen, by the way.
Do you remember when he went vegan?
No, I don't remember. Was that when he was the Brewers?
Oh, he was going to be a vegetarian.
Was that a brew crew?
Yes.
Okay.
And he was going to be a vegan. And
oh my God.
He ended.
And yes, you can be fat vegans. There is a lot of fattening vegan type foods. Let me tell you.
For sure. I mean,
I'm not frequenting a lot of vegan places, but I've been to vegan places. I was like, there's a lot of calories sneakily. Right?
I mean, I'm not going to judge anyone's
SOTAweightloss.com, folks, is what I'm trying to tell you.
The point that I'm getting at is that just because somebody says they're on some sort of a specific diet, we don't know.
No.
We don't know. And we all have vices.
No,
it actually makes me like Prince Fielder more.
I do know that Bonta Hill and Daryl the Guru Johnson are losing weight, though.
Absolutely.
They're looking tremendous. Those guys are not phonies. Prince Fielder, on the other hand, may have been a little fraudulent. every time I picture Prince, it's always the World Series, him rounding second.
Bro,
they're always trying
getting hosed.
Getting hosed. I was like, Prince, what are we doing, dude?
Unbelievable.
Sneakily, deceptively quick for a guy his size, by the way. He's a big boy, but he could run a little bit. But come on, man. What are we doing here in the World Series? You knew they were done immediately, by the way, then. These teams getting swept.
Yes. Well, the whole thing on that Sampson was, because I was unaware of all of the clubhouse stuff that goes on, and he was basically explaining there's a median amount that you tip, and there's guys that are good tippers, guys that are bad tippers. Derek Jeter apparently notoriously cheap. A-Rod notoriously cheap.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Are you surprised?
No, I'm just not certain people. Listen, guys like that, I'm not trying to, but a lot of guys that come up in that don't start off very low. They get a lot of success very quickly.
Yes.
The guys that grind and get there, they usually take care of the people. That's from what I've seen personally.
Well, I feel like it's
you and Bonte specifically. You guys have grinded a lot in your careers to get to this point, and you guys give back to me and Sam all the time, and vice versa. We have this nice little pot going. We're all homies. No, but I'm just saying, stuff like that
goes around. Is how we But I also grew up in a big family, and I do believe that there's always a frugal one in a family who's just a tightwad, if you will. But when you're in a big family,
my dad.
I think you kind of get it. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm going to pay for this. You'll pay for this. We'll figure it out.
Yes.
There's nothing worse than we used to have a buddy like this. 40s were like $2.25 back in the day. He gave you $3, like, I need my 75 cents
That's
back.
the worst. Just just no.
It's like, dude, you know what? Why don't you just go get yourself?
Yeah, seriously, no, facts. Real quick, Joe, I was tossing out
What do
this
you think
question.
about my theory about the second generation thing? It's really in vogue right now.
It is. No, and I'm looking at some of the names right now. Dante Bichette, Bo Bichette, obviously Dell
Jackson Holiday.
Jackson Holiday's going. The A's just drafted a kid, Jacob Wilson. His dad was a former All-Star, Mark Wilson.
I don't remember that.
Hold on, let me Google it. Jacob Wilson. Vamp for me real quick. Jacob Wilson, Oakland A's. There we go. Yeah, his dad, as I'm looking at right now, former big leaguer.
Oh, interesting.
Anyways, what I'm getting at is, I think people are targeting that because they look at these legacies and you know what? There may be a path there. Now, I'm not saying all the guys are going to land.
No.
But again, another one, Cody Bellinger. I didn't know his dad played.
Great example.
Won World Series with the Yankees, who obviously are on the might trade for Cody at this trade deadline too.
We can agree there's a physical prerequisite that everyone must meet. Yeah. But to me, I think the big advantage that you're seeing now is there's an emotional and a mental component to this where you understand the lifestyle of a primetime athlete.
Yes.
Right? And I do believe that's underrated.
Jack Wilson, there you go. Played for the Pirates in the early 2000s. Was a shortstop. Won an All-Star there. Yeah. Solid player. 260, 61 home runs.
He used
a lot
to
of power.
wear like the Horween colored glove. Like it's like an orangey tan kind of a glove back in the day. Very dirty. Yeah, middle infielder. I believe he won a gold glove one year.
Silver Slugger he did win. No gold gloves.
He was like an MVP baseball 200004 player.
There you go. Oh, dude. That's,
you know what I'm saying?
Is that the Manny Ramirez cover?
Albert Pujols,
Albert Pujols. Either one.
Yeah, either
all
one.
time for me. Yeah. Like, all time. Real quick, Joe. If you could, and we're up against it here, one play in sports to win a championship. That could be sinking the game-winning putt to win the Masters. Wow. That could be hitting a home run. That could be a penalty shootout in soccer or hockey. What is it for
Joe Carter's home run is as cool as it gets, no?
Walk off to win the World Series?
That's pretty good. Man. A touchdown to win it all. Like, nothing's what. Like,
someone I've gotten here from the text line. Yeah, Comcast fumble recovery for a touchdown, interception for a touchdown to win it all.
If James Harrison's happened at the end of the game instead of the end of the halftime, that might be number one.
Yes.
That's as exciting. Like, the Navarro Bowman play might be as exciting of an ending as you could ever come up with.
That's
you're about to lose, and then, tipped up in the air, and you go to the house. Like, what a way to end.
And I hate to bring it up, but the immaculate deception, as I call it, that ended
that
game
ball
winning.
hit the ground.
The ball hit the ground, but it didn't, apparently, so it is what it is.
Absolutely absurd. Those are all great. I mean, I'm trying to think in basketball, have we had, I guess, the Kyrie shot, even though that wasn't at the end, per se.
Yeah, Dame was another one.
The Ray Allen one.
Ray Allen, that's a good one.
Right.
Yeah, Michael Jordan's the shot, I guess, but that wasn't buzzer.
Michael Jordan is
that wasn't buzzer.
How did we forget that?
I know. So
how did I forget that?
I mean,
that's stupid.
It is. You know what's not stupid? The Morning Roast coming up next on 95.7 The Game.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM at HD1 San Francisco. An Odyssey station.
What's up? It's your boy Guru. You can tell by the excitement in my voice. I'm here to tell you about my